nasal spray works up to 12 hours when congestion strikes. Use only as directed Vicks Sinex nasal spray. I told you as a kid I ate a jar of it or something. It wasn't great for me. I was a crazy kid. Babysitter let me do it. I ate a jar of Vicks Sinex nasal spray or something. It was Vicks. I don't know if it was the nasal part. It was Vicks.
Kids are very resilient.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you, you eat a jar of that stuff as a kid, it is a crazy weekend.
You turned out okay.
Years later.
My grandfather, if we even sniffled, if we showed any sign
Vicks.
of anything, it was Vicks everywhere.
So Kevin and Anthony Davis Lakers, Kevin Durant is one of the early kind of pioneers of accepting mobility. He's a millennial. Millennials are between ages 23 and 38. And we know certain things about millennials. They're socially conscious. They like to join forces. And Kevin Durant's all for this Anthony Davis move.
AD wanted to play basketball somewhere else. Like, it's not like the president shutting down the government. It's just basketball. We want guys to do exactly what they want to do in this league. We have a short amount of time, so why not do what you want?
I would like to mention this. Anthony Davis is a millennial. So is Joy Taylor, 23 to 38 years old.
I'm a proud millennial.
Tech savvy, a little more mobile, like joining forces, socially conscious. Why does the NBA always get ripped when millennials want to join forces? Correct me if I'm wrong, but AAU basketball, aren't the same 7 to 8 national teams good every year? Excuse me, didn't the best 3 high schoolers in the country all go to Duke and join forces? They could have gone to Virginia, one to Gonzaga, one to Xavier. Now they wanted to win, join forces. We don't like when you start paying players and they have a little control over it. But AAU basketball is a compilation of stars. College basketball, Duke, Kentucky, the 2 most watched teams, are a compilation of stars. Nobody's bothered by that, but suddenly in the NBA, we don't like a compilation of stars. You're lying to yourself. Joining forces is a big thing everywhere. Do you know what the hot thing in music is? It's music festivals. Jay-Z, Lady Gaga. I'm not even going to embarrass myself and name the groups. They all join forces. Coachella. What's happening in movies? It's not a superhero movie. Superheroes now join forces. I watch those movies with my son. Award shows. All the stars, they still get pretty good ratings, meet in one place. Golden State Warriors dynasty is the highest rated non-LeBron thing in the NBA. The Major League Baseball All-Star Game outrates every regular season game, and it doesn't even count. By the way, 8 million people, 8.5 million, watched the Pro Bowl this weekend. It certainly wasn't good football, and it never is. But it's a compilation of stars. We like a compilation of stars. We pay for it in music. We pay for it in movies. About the only thing anybody goes and watches anywhere more in the movies. I'm not talking artistically. I'm talking what people pay to see is a compilation of stars and superheroes, award shows, all-star games. The Lakers and LeBron aren't taking anything away from New Orleans. They're just more interesting. You don't think LeBron and Anthony Davis is more interesting than the current situation in New Orleans? People in New Orleans don't watch the Pelicans. The local fans aren't interested in the Pelicans. I'm supposed to be? AAU basketball has replaced high school as the thing coaches watch and recruit from. It's just a bunch of great players all joining forces in Atlanta and Detroit and D.C. and Dallas and L.A. and Seattle. College basketball, the millennials, they don't want to go to Duke or Kentucky, Kansas. But in the NBA, it bothers us. Why? You and I know when Anthony Davis, if Anthony Davis, probably when, joins LeBron, it will be a ratings hit. Don't deny it. Basketball's always been a dynasty sport. The Celtics won 11 titles. John Wooden won 10 out of 12. Not sure why it bothers everybody in the current NBA. Doesn't bother you in AAU. Doesn't bother you in college that Duke and Kentucky always get all the players. Why does it bother you now? Ratings always go up after a compilation of many great players joining forces. Now to our millennial, Joy Taylor with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
Like a mascot. His actual statement kind of hit every single point. The only thing he needed to do was be saying it into a selfie video. He talked about the government shutdown, socially conscious. He encouraged mobility, saying that he should move.
Who's
and
this?
He said he should do it fast. KD. And he said he should do it quickly. It's actually the most millennial comment on the situation possible. All right, so Nicole Roby-Coleman did a full walk back on his comments about Tom Brady. After telling Bleacher Report, age has, quote, definitely taken a toll on Brady. I think that he's definitely not the same quarterback he was. Roby-Coleman said last night that his comments were actually misconstrued.
Yeah.
I'm not taking nothing away from his game. I can't take nothing away from his game. This is my first appearance. He been in this place many of times, in this position many of times. So I'm not going to make a big deal out of this situation. Like I said, words got taken out of context. I respect him, and we're going to go out there on Sunday and we're going to play football. He asked the question as, what's the difference between when I played him in Buffalo and when I played it here? And I just said his age. His skills hasn't changed, and his lack of talent, arm strength, nothing changed. That's all I said.
I mean...
Trash talk's not... Philadelphia talked trash last year and won. It's not going to really matter.
They do pay attention to it. That is for sure. That is without question that New England pays attention to it.
No question.
I don't think that he was necessarily talking trash. It's just that with this particular team, and especially with Tom Brady, with the constant, never-ending, when is he going to retire? And he missed a pass. He threw a big interception. We're finally seeing the end, and it's not. So, and it's Super Bowl week. So everything that you say that's even can kind of be twisted into being critical is going to get blown up. But I'm not... I don't want to say I'm surprised he backed off of it. I would have just doubled down at this point because no one really believes that you didn't mean what you said.
Right.
But sticking with criticism, despite the Patriots playing the quote-unquote nobody respects us card, and it's kind of an eye-rolling thing to begin with, but it's probably fair that they have taken a lot of criticism this year because the beginning of the year was a very unpatriot-like start to the year. There's lots of stories and controversy. So Rob Gronkowski says he does not take it to heart, which is not surprising. He actually uses it as fuel for jokes to lighten the mood in the locker room. He said, "We know there's been a lot said about us this year. We've been embracing it, I would say a little more than usual, but we're not letting it distract us. We're just embracing it and taking it and bringing out good energy. We're doing it all for laughs and fun."
You know what's interesting about Gronk is that it really is a testament to Brady's duration and longevity. It feels like Gronk just entered the league a few years ago, and now he's going to be on the way out. Is that as big and strong as Gronk is, 6'6.5", 265, careers in this league are short. He wasn't anywhere around Tom's first 6 or 7 years, and now he's not going to be around Tom's last 3 or 4 years. Gronk is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He is sandwiched right in the middle for Brady, and he's about to leave after this game.
Well, he said he's not going to retire.
Well, he may not retire. He may just
not be with the Patriots. I don't know. I don't know about that, but he did say he's not going to retire. But yes, I mean Brady's longevity, and like we said, he's only had one major injury. He's very LeBron-like in that sense. Like it's a phenomenon. And finally, the Rams' offseason splurge saw them add Marcus Peters, Aqib Talib, and Ndamukong Suh. And Peters was asked about the team bringing in players with questionable reputations, and he had an interesting comparison. He said, "What happened with Golden State bringing in all those people? So what's the difference between them bringing in guys and us bringing in guys? A change of scenery is always good sometimes. I guess it just wasn't working in KC. It was time to move on. When you come into a great organization with a great head coach, great GM, great owner, and just the whole organization, how everything's run so smoothly, you respect it and you want to be a part of their things."
But by the way, Marcus Peters is sounding very millennial, which is, hey, I just want to be part of a fun group. Like, and this is not a knock on millennials. I think it's a reality of millennials. They don't really want to. They don't want a painful voyage. If they can join forces, if they can go to Google and Apple out of college, they don't want to move to a small town. Even in my business, nobody wants to go work in Midland, Texas anymore. They want to go to ESPN or Fox and be the weekend guy and work.
Well, no disrespect to Midland, Texas, but did anyone ever want to go to Midland, Texas? Like, that's the point, though. If you're not from Midland, Texas, if you're from Los Angeles, did you want to leave Los Angeles and go start your career there and toil away for 5 years? I don't think it's necessarily that millennials don't want to work hard. It's about working smarter, not harder. And that may be, from the appearance of it, seem like it's like laziness or you're taking shortcuts. But maybe we just figured out a better way to do things.
Well, you're a little soft, and I think the second part's probably true, too.
I disagree. Mister, I've been in one fight in my life.
Hey, it was fisticuffs. Joey with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Live.
It really is something that you've been in more fights than I have.
Well, I'm a little rough around the edges, but I think I have a little bit more of an old school mentality.
Yeah, I think you're.
Like, I don't like the idea of everybody getting trophies at the end of things.
No, you're tough. You're no nonsense. You're not a big. You're tough.
I'm an old soul, though.
You're an old soul, and I'm just finesse. I wouldn't have been a good hockey player. All right. He's one of the guys we lean on. All sorts of content. Lead content guy at Monday Morning Quarterback. Our friend at the Super Bowl via the Coward Global Satellite Network. Albert Breer joining us. It's interesting. We have an NBA story here that's been big, and we've seen the Patriots at this thing over and over. Kind of give me a 45-second kind of, how does it feel? You've been to a lot of these Super Bowls. Because of New England, does it feel like same old leading up to the game?
It doesn't feel like there's an overarching storyline, and we don't always have one. There's not a big injury we're worried about. I don't think Todd Gurley, there's much of a question he's going to play. The question is how the Rams are going to use him. Gronkowski's retirement, maybe you can get excited about that, or that can drum up some interest. And then, of course, there's the old coach versus the new coach, Belichick versus McVay. So you have your storylines. It just doesn't feel like there's one overarching thing that we're all kind of clinging on to.
Listen, Tom Brady said it the other day, Albert. You know the Patriots. You covered them for the Boston Globe, and one of the reasons we lean on you is you have more insight with them than anybody in this country, in my opinion. These are not